Hello friends, welcome to SQL Server tutorial. In the last video, we saw how to save the trace information into a database table. In this video, we will concentrate on creating the server-side tracing. So, server-side tracing is useful for long-term tracing. Say, if you want to trace for more than 1 week, then you can go for server-side tracing instead of depending on the SQL profiler GUI. Alright, let's directly go to the demo. Alright, now we will open SQL profiler. We will call it as server-side trace. And we will come back to that later. Event selection. Let's go with the default event selection. We will, before running the trace here, I am stating enable trace stop time as 1 hour, right? We can even stop it beforehand also, but here we are choosing the trace stop time. First, we are doing this with the UI itself. We are setting all the properties like a trace name, event selection, and whatever configuration you want to do, you can do that in the SQL profiler UI. Here we are choosing the stop time also. This will be usually 1 or 2 week afterwards, right? That's what the purpose here. When we are running the server side trace, we will run it for 1 week or 2 week, right? So if we are going to run this for 2 week, then you can pick a specific date and state when it will stop. For now, I am going with the same date itself. At present, the time is 6:14 and 7:12 PM is the stop time I am selecting. So let's run this, and this will keep on logging some of the trace. So what I'm doing at present, I'm stopping it. Why? Because we don't want to run this trace on the UI. Instead, we want to run it as a server-side trace. So we can even clear the trace content. Why? Because all settings are saved here. Let's go with the file, save as. So we cleared the content, right? Now we will go to file, export, script trace definition to SQL Server 2005 to 2017. So here what we are doing, we are exporting the trace definition. So the trace definition now contains the trace file name. We named it as a server side, then all the event selection, and if any other configuration you made, all those stuff will get exported here, including the timestamp, the stop date and time. Let's first export it. It will ask for the file name. We will go ahead and choose ctemp. temp1, and we will name it as server side trace. So click on the save button, and it shows that script file is saved successfully on the specified path. Now this Now this profiler is not required. We will exit the profiler, and we will have this. We will have this as well. We will open the script file. In the C drive temp, you can see the server side trace is generated. Click that file to open it. So if you look at the script, it is asking for the name, file name. So we will save the trace file in the same folder, temp1, and my trace, and here we will name it as server side trace output. So here, if you see, the date time is specified, right? So this will be our stop time. If you need, you can change this. So the trace will be stopped in the date time specified here. So SP trace create, that's the procedure. For that procedure, we are passing the date time, right? That means the procedure will keep on running and collecting the trace on this specific location, and when this time reaches, it will automatically stop the trace. Now we will run this script, and if you see, we made two changes. One is we told where we want the trace file, and we haven't changed this. If you need, you can change it. So the time is 6:21, right? We can put a 6:22 here, but I want to show how you can stop the running trace. Suppose if you provided 1 month time period here in real world example, and if you want to stop it after 2 weeks, that means at the end of a 16th day, even though you started running it for 1 month, and if you want to stop in between, what you have to do. So that's what we are going to see. That's why I am not changing the time. The time is still 7:12. That's the stop time. The time here now is 6:22. All right. When you run, it will provide an ID. So that's the trace ID. Trace ID is 2. If you are running multiple server side traces, the ID will increment. So just remember this ID. And now server side trace is running, and we will execute this statement one by one, and this will get captured in the background. So we executed all the traces. Now how do we stop the trace? So because the trace is running here, once we execute it, and this procedure will start running the trace, and it will end by this time only. So we will create a new window, and we will execute the stored procedure. Execute. SP trace set status. 2 is the ID, 0 is the status. So here this status states that we want to stop the trace, right? Extended stored procedure from PubSys. So now we will execute this. It will stop the trace. So here this is the ID. This one is important. This one is the status. So SP trace set status, and you can look at the argument. 0 stops the trace, 1 starts the trace, to closes the specified trace and deletes the trace definition. So we forgot to delete the trace definition, but that's okay. Now if we go to temp1, we can see this one we generated from the UI itself, and we ran this script by opening it in the SQL Server Management Studio, and this one is the trace output. So now let's go to SQL Server Profiler. So don't forget to run it as administrator, otherwise you cannot open the trace file. File, open, trace file. We know that it is in ctemp. Click this and open it. So now if you see, we ran it as a server-side trace, and it captured all the events, right? So text data is here, and if you want to move these to the separate table, you know how to do that. You can go for save as a trace table, then you can search for a specific specific entry. So now if you see here, the trace is not running, we are analyzing it offline, and this is the find string, right? And our table is a student. Or if you want to search for jobs, we executed job also, right? In this batch. Okay, maybe I closed it. So find what? Find jobs table, search in column, text data, find next, and if you see, select start from jobs, and it selected that specific column. Similarly, if you want to know what happened to the student, you can search for that. So create table student, and this is the first we inserted 2, then 2, then 1, right? Select start from student, all those stuff you can see. So it proves that we captured the information and saved that as a trace file in the file system. Then we opened that in the SQL Server Profiler for offline analysis. Once you opened this, you can even go for file, save as, and trace table. You can connect to the database, specify a table name, and export the content. So the TRC content, once loaded in the UI, will get transferred to the table, and you can continue your analysis by writing select queries on the exported table name. That's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.